Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Game of Thrones Season 7. This is for episode 5, it's called Eastwatch. And spoiler warning as usual, if you guys have not seen this episode yet, you definitely want to watch it before you watch this review. Man, this episode was a lot of fun, so I really enjoyed this one. This was a bit like I want to compare at the end to like maybe a Game of Thrones all-star game or something. If it's NHL, you even got the ice and stuff. I'm Canadian, so it's, think in terms of hockey, right? So that was really cool. There's some really great scenes in this one. We'll try to go over everything. Just to give you my general thoughts on the episode. I mean, I love the episode. It was great. There was so many things in this episode that were so many years kind of culminating, coming together, and things that, characters meeting each other that were always in distant spots and they never quite came together. This one just had so many cool, meetings, and there's just so much to say about it. I don't think we're going to be able to cover everything in this one video, so I'll do lots of Q&As this week. We'll discuss a lot of what happens in this episode, and just some really cool, I want to say, like, fan moments in this one. Like, for example, Gendry coming back into the show again, which was great because he pretty much disappeared for a while now. I can't even remember the last time he was in the series, and it was really cool in this one to see Davos kind of go and get him and bring him back with him. And I really loved the hammer. The hammer was super cool, and really a nice throwback to the first season, back to their sort of, not really their dads, but in terms of name, like Jon, of course, Eddard's not his father, but he was raised by Eddard, and Robb being the biological father for Gendry. So to get to see them, the two bastards, kind of meet was just a really cool sequence, and I really liked how he's got the hammer, because you hear of Robert and how he used to use his hammer, and that kind of stuff was really cool. So that was a really great meetup, and one that I really never envisioned we would see in the series. I wasn't even really thinking about Gendry at this time. I almost felt like he might be one of those characters that we just kind of never really see again. It was just so cool to see him back in this episode. In addition to that, we also have the return of Jorah, so he gets to see Daenerys again, which was really cool. Really great scene as well there. And also gets to meet with some of the others, getting to meet Jon for the first time in the series, getting to meet some of the others at the end here. The Brotherhood Without Banners, the Hound, that was really cool to see Jon point out that he's the Hound, as soon as he sees him, and Beric and the others that are with him. It was just so cool to see this kind of band of brothers come together, this group of fighters come together that just forms a super strong, team that's going to go out there and try to do the impossible. And Tormund and some of the others, so some of the absolute toughest fighters in the series kind of just all join a group together and head out together on a mission. It was just so cool to see at the end, for sure. And a very unpredictable direction, I want to say, with regards to the series. I was kind of thinking, if you guys saw my prediction videos and my for this season, of course, because we have one more season left after this one. We have 2 extended episodes for this season left, and then next season we have, with season 8, we have 6 remaining, and the series is finished. That's it. That's the end of Game of Thrones. This one went a little bit different from how I thought it was going to go. I kind of felt like the ending of the season looked like we might see the battle with Cersei and the others kind of finish, and then we might see kind of the final season would be the focus just on the White Walkers and them, attacking the wall and then passing the wall and a whole bunch of people dying, and then that be the final battle of the series. But it looks like that might not be the case, and we might actually get to see Cersei possibly bide her time and wait for the right moment to strike, which is very intelligent on her part, totally within character. And of course, because of this new reveal here that she is pregnant, it makes sense, and it makes it natural for her that she might start thinking a little bit differently. The motherly hormones getting started, and her thinking about her baby in the future and everything, and her maybe, being a little bit more conservative with her decisions, and, maybe not being so aggressive, because after all, she has to worry about herself, Jaime, but now she has to worry about this new baby. And I also liked in this episode that she did say that they're just going to tell everybody that it's his, and Tormund calls it out really great, right? When he talks about the two queens, the one who's got the dragons, right? The other one that fucks her brother. This is classic. The way he said it was just really funny, though. I really love the way that he just calls it like it is. The wildlings, they don't mess around. That's what it is, right? And he also asks if Jon brought the big woman, right? So he likes Brienne, right? So wants to know if Jon brought her. That's really funny too. So again, just some really great setup here in this episode. That some things I think we saw, but other things it's like you couldn't see. There's no way you could predict that this all kind of would come together in this way. Of course, also the being reunited again between Jaime and Tyrion, which was a really great scene as well too. And because Tyrion, of course, is feeling bad for what he had to do with Tywin, and Jaime kind of still being mad about that. But it was just really cool to get to see them together again, and for Bronn to be the middleman. Cersei at first to be like, because of course from Jaime's perspective too, Jaime is quite. I want to say scared of Cersei, as he probably should be, as we probably are, in a lot of ways. Like for Bronn, not sure if she's going to try to punish Bronn or she's going to do something without Jaime, allowing it first, because she's like that. But it was, just really great to find out about the baby and this kind of stuff, and maybe she's changing in a good way, and so she can, with the others, put their differences aside for a little while with the army of the dead on the march towards all of Westeros. So let's take it from the top. Let's recap. We'll give our thoughts on each part as we go through this amazing episode. So Eastwatch, by the sea. We've got the exciting intro. They changed up the intro a little bit with a focus on Eastwatch as a location now, which was cool. We've got Bronn and Jaime that kind of come up out of the water, sort of on the other side, I want to say, which we did predict. We did think that was going to happen, that they were going to be able to make it back. In terms of story, you pretty much have to have it go that way. If Daenerys was to capture Jaime, then it would kind of all be over, so to speak, or at least definitely wouldn't be something Cersei would want for Jaime to be captured. Then we've got the dragons are where our partnership ends. So that was funny with Bronn, as he says to him, and then he says that he has to tell Cersei. And then we've got everything just destroyed everywhere. We've got Tyrion who kind of walks through it all, which is a really cool scene for him as well too, because of course this is his army, so to speak. This is the Lannister army that's just been absolutely demolished by the Dothraki, absolutely destroyed. And then you get the Daenerys speech in a part that we did predict pretty much 100%, which is that the Tarleys, or not Sam, but the rest of his family in this one, is refuses to bend the knee, refuses to surrender to Daenerys, and as a result, are sentenced to death. I did like Dickon, but let's be honest here. Do we really think that he was going to be like, a long-running character? His name's Dickon, this is what it is. And Randall Tarley, that was good to see. I enjoyed seeing him be burnt alive by the dragon because, of course, he's always been a jerk all the way through, stone cold asshole all the way. And so that felt like sort of, in a way, I guess, retribution for what happened with the Tyrells, and him kind of agreeing to fight alongside Cersei and the others rather than sticking with the Tyrells and Daenerys in that case. So she makes an example out of them, which she kind of has to do. Varys and Tyrion didn't like it afterwards, but the reality is she had to make an example out of somebody, and they were just like the perfect ones to do it with, or at least Randall was. As soon as she does that, all the others just surrender right away. They all bend the knee to her instantly in what was a super, super badass sequence for sure. So we've got Jaime returning to Cersei, and, the mention that he has is that this is only one dragon. She's got 3 of them, and the Dothraki fight like a bunch of madmen, crazy people, and they're very scary. So, this isn't working. This is not going to work. Daenerys has made her first kind of show of power that everyone needs to stop screwing around, because she's got the trump card, she's got the dragons, and Jaime gets to finally see that in person. What he's dealing with here is lucky to get out of there with his life. He tells Cersei that Olenna was the one who did it. So that truth, of course, I would think would change how she feels about Tyrion in a lot of ways. Even though she probably still doesn't like Tyrion, if she didn't know that, she may not react the same way to Jaime meeting with him. Then we have Jon and Daenerys as Daenerys returns with Drogon, who she's perplexed as to why he gives Jon. He kind of goes up to Jon on his own and gives him a sniff, which was pretty cool. That was something that we did predict. I thought we were going to see it earlier. We saw it in this episode, but that was a really great scene. He kind of rubs the dragon on the side, that kind of thing. And she's like, she's not understanding because that's not the usual. That's not the usual. You don't see that type of thing too often, that one of the dragons would like him. But of course, the dragon's nose doesn't lie, and he knows that Jon is a Targaryen. So, that kind of, I don't want to say confirms it, because it's already confirmed, but it just kind of added to it, and it kind of showed her that maybe that's what's going on, or maybe would make her more interested in him than she already has been, which I really liked. And also the way they shot it with, and the way she delivered it as well, too. Emilia Clarke delivered it when he says that he's going to leave, and she's like, hesitant to let him go, right? Because, we have the start of possibly a relationship between the two, and it seems like she likes him, of course, after the dragon thing as well, too. That's got to help, but, he, of course, does have to go because he's got to return to the north, as we saw from Sansa and the others, that there's some trouble brewing, and, of course, the Night's King and the White Walkers are on the march. But I really liked all those scenes a lot, just to kind of see how her and him interact with each other and how she reacts to him wanting to leave or, wanting to go, and her kind of almost trying to tell him no, and then him saying, well, you're going to have to kill me type of thing. I am leaving for sure. It's my freedom to go, that kind of deal. It was just really great because I feel like that's extremely important for the series to kind of at least end with the two of them, I would think, together or something of the sort. If you think this is a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. Okay, I know, but at the same time, in terms of just all the fan demand, I want to say, for the two of them to possibly get together, I just think that would be really great to see, and that would be a nice way to end the series. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens or not. But I really like that, and I'm sure all the fangirls went crazy, and guys as well too. I liked it as well too. It was good. We've got Sam. So Sam is kind of telling the others about what's happened. He hasn't been. I don't know if he's been told yet by the end of it, if by the others that his dad and brother have been burnt alive. So I'm not sure. Maybe I just missed it. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But he does decide to leave, which kind of comes out of nowhere, but at the same time makes a lot of sense because there's a ton of shit about to go down. He's been able to find the information that he needs. He was able to help Jorah and able to do a lot of things, but he can't just be sitting there doing homework. He does have to contribute, and I really like what he kind of says where, at a point you got to take action. You can learn about other great men or greater men that have done all kinds of fantastic things, but at some point, if you want to be a great man yourself, you have to take action yourself. You have to do something yourself. Studying is great, but eventually you got to get out there and you got to try some things, whether that be with regards to work or in warfare. One time or another, you've got to get out there and actually do something. So I like that. And I like that they did leave. And there was a nice Easter egg in there as well, too, about Rhaegar and about him getting an annulment, which was kind of cool. They kind of skipped over. It was pretty obviously an Easter egg. They put it in there just so kind of like you could know. If you guys missed the video this week that I did, it was a Q&A about possibly Jon and Daenerys getting together, like relationship. We mentioned that one, of course, that Rhaegar was his older brother, and so that makes her his aunt in terms of actual blood aunt, right? So with Rhaegar being his, would have been Jon's real father, Eddard, of course, raising him, but biologically, his biological father, we should say. So there's that. We get some cool stuff, which is interesting, which I don't exactly know how to read, between Sansa and Arya, and then, of course, Sansa and Littlefinger. So we got the stuff with Sansa and Arya first, getting people to work together. Sansa has to try to keep everybody happy, of course. She's in charge. She's got all these armies together that we're able to defeat Ramsay. Arya doesn't understand. And Arya, I feel like there was always kind of a rift between the two, but I feel like it's kind of come to the forefront more because Arya kind of hates people like Cersei and hates people in power positions like that. And I think she's starting to see, or she's seeing a little bit of Sansa's situation and the decisions she's making being, maybe similar in some ways to some of these other people, and her just kind of being very, really having a dislike towards anybody in a power position after all the things that she's seen happen earlier on in the series. So they don't get along that well, and Arya kind of reads Sansa, calls her on some of her BS, and Arya's methods seem to be more strict because, of course, she kills people like crazy. It's no big deal for her, and she doesn't really see why Sansa would want to be nice to people and want everyone to work together. And Arya, of course, being very mistrusting as well, too, which you can totally expect after what happened with her early on in the series with Eddard. She was closer to that situation than some of the others, or at least, Sansa was pretty close too, but you guys get what I'm saying. So then we've got the other stuff here with Bronn, the Tyrion meeting, which was really great. Tyrion explaining himself, Jaime just be like, what do you want? And they kind of skipped over the rest, which is kind of stuff that was obvious. We knew what he was basically telling him and everything, and that he's going to bring proof and all that. And we've got the hammer, which was really cool. I love when he smashed the two guards. Thought that was really great, and just really reminiscent of Robb. But also it makes sense too that with regards to a sword and swordsmanship, Gendry he probably would suck at that. But with regards to just smashing things with a hammer, as we saw from the Dothraki, technique is great and everything, but, sometimes just people going, just nuts and hitting people with a damn hammer can beat somebody who's well-practiced with the sword, more experienced with the sword, just by going nuts on them, I suppose. Sometimes it works. Then we've got the stuff with, so the Jaime meeting Tyrion, Cersei, punish Bronn talk, being clever, and kind of biding their time. And I also like the line too there, after finding out that she's pregnant, a lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of the sheep, which was really cool because I also remember, Tyrion or Tywin telling Jaime exactly that as he was cutting up, what was it, like a deer or something he had? That was kind of a great scene if you remember back. I think that was one of the first times we met him. Was that in season 2? I think so, when we met Tywin. We've got Jorah and Tyrion, which is really cool. He gives them the coin back. So another really great meetup between two characters that had not seen each other for a very long time. King of the North, I've grown used to him, so that was really cool. I like that one a lot from Daenerys. And then we've got Sam, the Rhaegar talk and all that, the Easter eggs, and then Sam leaving. Arya following Baelish and then going into Baelish's room to find the note that he had, which, man, I would have had to pause it. I didn't get to see what the note said exactly, so I'll have to check that one afterwards. Anybody who did see it and was able to pause it and record it, you can leave a comment below as to what was on the note, and we can speculate later in maybe the predictions video in an hour or in a Q&A this week, either one. But it's just sometimes, I do these reviews right after I watch it so I can get them posted for you guys right away, because I know you guys look for them right after the episode airs, and sometimes with stuff like that I have to go back and look again later, after I get a chance. Then we've got Jon heading towards Eastwatch, Tormund with the one who fucks her brother line. It's funny. And Jon wants to go out, and then he meets the Hound and some of the others. They don't all necessarily like each other. Of course, you have Gendry. He doesn't like the Brotherhood, but at the time, I do like it that Jon says that we're all on the same side. We're all breathing, and that was really cool. I like that line as well. And then they all head out with a super badass group, and we get to see the snow. You can't even see. It's like a snowstorm. And then we've got the preview, which is What Are You Scared Of?, which is really cool. And you see the Night's King and everything like that. So very fast-paced episode in terms of development. They probably could have stretched this season out to 10 episodes, but in a way, I'm glad they didn't, because it's just really, packed in, fast-paced. Yes, this was a development episode. This was a setup episode for the final 2, which are going to be very exciting. Some things went against what a lot of us thought the direction of the series would go, but it was still awesome setup for the next 2 episodes, which should be incredible as they're both extended. I just can't wait to see them. So in terms of review and score, I give this one, I guess, a 9.1. Really like the episode, of course. This wasn't a payoff episode. This is after the payoff from the episode before, with episode 4, with all the craziness with Daenerys and all the other stuff. But some really great things developing for this one, and I really can't wait to see what happens in the final 2 episodes for Game of Thrones Season 7. The season's going by so fast. It's so crazy, man. It's going by so fast. And, man, they really just are not pulling any punches. They're really going for it with this one, and they're not delaying at all. It's just been absolutely fantastic. Sad that it's almost over, but cannot wait to see these final 2. If you guys liked this review, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Maybe some of the parts that were your favorite, some of the meetups that you thought were really cool, or some of the new things that are developing in here and predictions, we'll have soon for that video coming in an hour for the predictions video on what I think. Send me your questions for the Q&A, guys, for this week. We'll do lots of them because Game of Thrones Season 7 is almost wrapping up. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share. You can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys back again soon for the predictions for what I think is going to happen in Episode 6. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.